Paris glowed under flashing lights. The world's fashion elite gathered to witness Dior's Spring-Summer 2026 show, but for millions watching online, the spotlight wasn't on couture, it was on one man. Park Jimin of BTS, IT was his first high-profile appearance since completing his military service in June 2025. Fans held their breath, not just to see what he would wear or how he would look, but to hear one thing. What comes next? Would Jimin, the man who made history with his solo album Face, reveal plans for a new solo era? Would he drop hints of another record-shattering release? Instead, Jimin gave an answer that surprised many. In a live stream following the show, he looked directly into the camera, smiled gently, and said, "For now, BTS is the most important to me." With those words, Jimin silenced the growing chorus of solo demands. And in doing so, he reignited one of the most emotional conversations in ARMY history. Is BTS ready to reclaim their throne? For Jimin, the months leading up to this moment were transformative. The conclusion of his military service wasn't just an end, it was a rebirth. Fans who saw him depart the base in June noted how leaner and sharper he looked, carrying himself with the quiet confidence of someone who had endured discipline and hardship. Military service, often described as the great equalizer, had taken one of the world's biggest stars and stripped him of glamour. In return, it gave him something else: clarity. And that clarity was on full display when he chose to put BTS above everything else. When Jimin said, "BTS is the most important to me," it wasn't just a passing comment. It was a vow. For nearly 3 years, ARMY had endured a painful silence, members serving one after another, scattered projects filling the gap, but no full BTS comeback. Each solo release, while celebrated, reminded fans of what was missing: the harmony of 7 voices together. Jimin's decision to dismiss solo demands sent an unmistakable signal. BTS is ready. The era of separation is over. The era of reunion has begun. But make no mistake, Jimin knows the power of his solo music. His 2023 album Face was nothing short of groundbreaking. With Like Crazy, he became the first Korean soloist to top the Billboard Hot 100, a feat that placed his name alongside global legends. The album, raw and deeply personal, showcased a vulnerable side of Jimin: loneliness, self-reflection, healing. For many, Face wasn't just an album. It was a diary, a window into the man behind the global idol. Fans who resonated with tracks like Alone and Set Me Free PT2 still describe the album as life-changing. When Jimin said he won't be pursuing solo work right now, it wasn't because Face failed. It was because it succeeded so powerfully that his return to BTS feels even more vital. The live stream spread across social media within minutes. On Twitter, TikTok, and Weverse, ARMY shared their emotions. This is why we love him. He always thinks about the group before himself.
I'm crying.
He could have had another solo #1, but instead, he chose BTS. I want Jimin's solo music so bad, but I respect his loyalty. That's what makes him Jimin. Some fans admitted disappointment, confessing they had been waiting for a Face 2.0 announcement. Others speculated that Jimin might be downplaying his solo work to keep focus on BTS's comeback plans. But the overwhelming reaction was one of admiration. ARMY saw not just an idol, but a leader, someone willing to sacrifice personal spotlight for collective history. Even Jimin's appearance at Dior SS 26 carried layers of meaning. Dressed in a daring open blazer and leather trousers, he exuded both elegance and defiance. His choice of fashion, bold, unapologetic, mirrored his words later that evening. Just as he wasn't afraid to bare his chest in front of Paris, he wasn't afraid to bare his truth to fans. He is loyal to BTS, and no fashion runway, no award show, no solo glory could change that. The symbolism wasn't lost on ARMY. The Dior show wasn't just a fashion event, it was a metaphor. Jimin had stepped onto the world stage again, not as a soloist, not as a model, but as a member of BTS preparing for the next act. Behind Jimin's statement lies a bigger story: the highly anticipated BTS comeback. HYB has already confirmed that BTS is preparing a full album release in 2026, followed by a global tour. For fans who have waited since Proof in 2022, the promise of new music is nothing less than historic. Industry insiders suggest that the group is currently deep in production, experimenting with new sounds while also revisiting their roots. If true, this would explain Jimin's determination to shift attention away from solo pursuits. The question now is, what kind of album will BTS deliver? Will it be nostalgic, celebrating their decade-long journey? Or will it be revolutionary, introducing a new sound for a new era? Whatever the answer, Jimin's choice to prioritize BTS has only heightened anticipation. Perhaps the most intriguing part of Jimin's statement is its subtle wording. He didn't say never. He said, "For now." That phrase has become a seed of speculation. Some fans believe he already has unreleased solo material, waiting for the right moment. Others think his next solo era could arrive after BTS's 2026 tour, making it even bigger and more impactful. By leaving the door open, Jimin managed to give both reassurance and mystery. He calmed fans who feared the group would stay divided, but also left just enough space for hope that another solo masterpiece might one day emerge. In an industry where individualism is often rewarded, Jimin's stance is rare. He could have chosen to chase more Billboard #1s, more brand deals, more personal fame. Instead, he chose unity. That decision carries weight not just for ARMY, but for K-pop as a whole. It sends a message that the power of BTS lies not in their individual successes, but in the magic they create together. And perhaps, in a world that often celebrates self-interest, Jimin's words are a reminder of something bigger. Sometimes, true greatness comes not from standing alone, but from standing together. As Jimin's live stream ended, one comment from a fan captured the moment perfectly. "We didn't lose Jimin the soloist. We gained Jimin the heart of BTS again." And maybe that's the story here. Not that Jimin refused to go solo, but that he chose to give ARMY what they've been yearning for the most. BTS, whole and unbreakable. 2026 is coming. The world tour is coming. The album is coming. And thanks to Jimin's words, fans know one thing for sure: BTS will rise together, stronger, louder, and more united than ever before. To understand why Jimin's words struck so deeply, you have to rewind the clock. Since 2022, ARMY has lived through what many call the silent years. Each member pursued solo projects, while military service scattered BTS across time and space. Fans endured months, sometimes years, without seeing the group as one. During those years, Jimin's face was a lifeline. His vulnerability, his honesty, his artistry. It kept fans afloat when the group's future felt uncertain. When he stood in front of a camera in October 2025 and said, "BTS is the most important to me," it felt like the curtain was finally lifting. It wasn't just Jimin speaking, it was BTS speaking through him. For ARMY, it was the answer they had been waiting for. The separation is ending, and the reunion is real. Jimin's choice to step back into the public eye through Paris Fashion Week was no coincidence. Paris has long been a city of reinvention. For Jimin, who walked into Dior's SS26 show with quiet elegance, it symbolized rebirth, not as a solo star, not as a fashion ambassador, but as part of something larger. The blazer without a shirt, the leather pants, the bold accessories. These weren't just clothes. They were statements. They said, "I am here. I am different. I am stronger. And I am ready for what comes next." Fans who lined up in the cold Paris streets knew it too. Some had traveled across continents just for a glimpse. And when Jimin waited until the show ended to personally greet them, it reminded the world why he isn't just admired, he's loved.